Good morning. That's not my face. This is my face. Good morning all. How are you all? I hope you are coping with the lockdown well. As you can tell from my hair, I am really not. I need to get to a hairdresser and there's none that exist in my house. So I am all over the place today. I've got a beard that needs to be shaved. But otherwise, I'm good. The sun is shining again, so it's lovely to be stuck inside for another day. I've had a lovely weekend where I've been working super hard on various different projects, but now I'm back with you, and we are today going to be talking about the DECI-Mall. We're going to be trying to make sure we understand why decimals exist, what they're used for, and then doing some stuff with them. As usual, there is a worksheet in the description below. While you're getting yourself comfortable, I'm going to get myself ready. So how are you all? Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you're looking forward to some things. As you can see behind me, it's the blank of April because I haven't managed to write the date up. So let's start the week as we mean to go on with the 20th of April. And we might get some things appear on that board as the week go on. Lots of things planned this week. We're going to be doing some stuff on probability tomorrow. We're going to be doing... that's the wrong... maybe we are. Yeah, I think we are. Probability tomorrow, adding and subtracting digits the next day, and then a Friday game as well. So I will get all of that up to date and ready for you. So let's get cracking straight into the first bit of studio. Here's the activity for you. What you need to do is create a rule that everyone would have to follow for the day. Put it in the live chat. What rule do you come up with? One rule that everyone has to follow until the end of the day. The best rule, if it's manageable, I will try and follow for the entirety of the live stream, if we can. While we're doing that, coming up with your rules, I'm going to say good morning, wow, to good morning to Charlie, good morning to Alfie, good morning to Patrick, good morning Alicia, good morning Ellis, good morning Alfie, good morning Murray Minecraft, good morning Christian would be Christian's children. My brain's gone blank. Good morning anyway. Good morning Kyra. Good morning Sam. Good morning Vera. Good morning. Lots of people saying good morning. Good morning Grace. Good morning Alexandra and Kira. Good morning. I'm looking forward to seeing your rules that you've come up with. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Summer. Welcome back. Good morning, James. Good morning, Tom and Tilly. Good morning, Toby in Northampton. Good morning, Sienna and Romeo. We must be nearly there now. I'm really impressed with the number of people here. Good morning, Rose, who is 8. Good morning, Ozzy and B. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Joel and Imogen. Let's get ready. So, good morning, Charlena. I'm not sure about the rules that you have to get £10. Good morning. Natasha suggests the rule is that her family have to say yes to everything. Stay hydrated is an interesting rule. Eat chocolate and drink water. I can stay hydrated. I could do that one for today. I've got some water with me. Good morning, Adeline H6. Smile to people you see and say good morning. That's a great rule. If you read this post, you have to tell a joke. Oh, that's not fair, because then I did read that post, so I have to tell a joke. I don't know any good jokes. I'm terrible at jokes. Keep smiling. Okay. I will try and do 2 minutes of exercise every hour. I'm not sure I can do 2 minutes exercise during the stream. Anyway, I'll keep an eye out for what rules you come up with. I'm going to stay hydrated. That's the rule I've decided to stick to. I'm going to drink my water as we go through the thing. So, let's carry on with the lesson. We are visiting the DECI-Mall. Here it is. You can see it's a huge, huge building, which I don't know what all those people are doing in there at the moment. They should be social distancing, shouldn't they? It must have been taken from before, back when we were allowed out of our houses. We are going to be learning all about decimals. So why do we have decimals? Well, as you can see, I've got two big cakes here. I've got a before and after picture. I've got my big chocolate brownie and then lots of little chocolate brownies because they've been cut. The reason decimals exist, and we've had to invent them, and decimals have been invented because we chose a decimal system. Computer people use a hexadecimal system, which is much, much different. It has letters in it as well. But we use a decimal system where there are 10 numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it breaks down even more. And the reason we need to do it is because when you cut into this one cake, you create fractions, we could call them, but we also create bits of that whole number. And you can do that with every number. So when they invented the decimal system, they decided we're going to have a system which is hundreds, tens and units, and then we're going to split those units into tens, and those little tiny bits into tens, and those little tiny bits into tens, and we're going to keep getting smaller. Hence decimals were invented. So how is that useful to us? Well, we're going to need to identify what a decimal is. So we're going to do that in the on my whiteboard in a second. And we also need to be able to add and subtract them in a straightforward way. And so it's quite important that when you're looking at what we're going to do, maybe make some notes, have a look at what we're doing, but you're hopefully following. Remember, there is always in the description below the video a link to an activity sheet you can do. It's got some questions and an activity today. So let's get started. I've got my pen. We will head over to the studio right about now. Here we go. I'm on my whiteboard. And hopefully it's working, because last week we had problems on the Monday. So this is where I really need to find that it's working. Hello? Do you ever get the feeling that the technology conspires against you? I do sometimes. I will appear in the middle of the corner of the screen. Here we are. I'm here. Brilliant. Always does this. Right, so decimals. We've got hundreds, tens, units. And then after the decimal, we've got tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. What this means is if we've got 328.4, that's 328 whole cakes. That sounds like a brilliant day. I quite enjoy eating 328 whole cakes. But then we've got 4 tenths. If we imagine there's a whole cake and we cut it into tenths, that's probably not the way to do it. That's definitely accurate. They're all the same size. No lies. They're all the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've cut it into 10 pieces. Pretend they're all the same size. Each of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, would make up that 0.4. That's why the decimals exist. So what we're going to need to be able to do is to use these decimals to add and take away. Because before we can go visit any of the shops in the DECI-Mall, we're going to need to know how to add and subtract decimals. Well, if we've got something like 4.2, add 3.7, it's quite straightforward. We just line them up above each other and make sure that the decimal is lined up. So the 2 and the 7 make 9, and the 4 and the 3 make 7. So when it's like this, that's absolutely fine. Subtraction works the same as normal subtraction does. 4.8 minus 2.9, I'm going to deliberately do one that's not nice. 4.8 minus 2.9, we line them up with the decimal. 8 cannot take away from 9, so we have to borrow from there to make 18. 18 minus 9 is 9. 3 minus 2 is 1. And we get 1.9. That was all quite straightforward. However, the reason I'm showing you this is when we have decimals that are not the same. I'm getting obsessed with 4 today. 4.7 plus 1.02. If you want to add together decimals where they're different number of decimal places, we line them up as normal. 4.7 over the top of 1.02. And we go, whoa, there's something missing here. So we put a 0 anywhere where there's a space. If you're trying to add numbers that are decimals together, but there aren't the same number of decimals, you line them up. So that will make 2 and 7 and 5. 5.72. The other thing I have to flag up, and this is really important to me, which is why I'm going full screen. Hello! When we are trying to say decimals, you mustn't call this 72. This is pronounced 5.72, not 5.72. It's really important. 5.72. The only time you can call a number 72 is if it's on its own like that. If it's this, it's pronounced 5.72. We say every single digit separately. What about subtraction? If we're trying to subtract, this is a bit dry, I understand that. We're going to go back to the mall in a second. 5.2 minus 3.08. We line it up with the decimal point. Then we go, we need an extra 0 because they've got to have the same number. Then we do our borrowing, steal from there. That makes that 10, 2, 1, 2. 2.12, not 2.12. Remember, it's 1, 2. We say every decimal separately. I forgot to flick back to the screen. Now you can see 5.2 minus 3.08. I lined it up, put an extra 0 in, stole it, and then put it there. I've got to remember to flick back, haven't I? Otherwise, I'm a moron. Okay, good morning, Reese. Welcome. Thank you very much, Claire, for greeting people. Nice to see you doing your first one. Ellis, you're absolutely right. Don't confuse decimals with decibels. They're very, very different. So, if we go back to our studio, and I do insist on calling it a studio, and I get off the screen. The first shop we're going to is Shirty Laundry. One of the best laundry stores you'll ever hear about. Shirty Laundry is where you go to wash. You know when you get new shirts, but they have like printed words on them. This laundrette just does like printed shirts. It's really good at doing it. And we're going to Shirty Laundry to talk about money because it's the most common place where we're going to need to use decimals. Now, this is something my year 10s and 11s still get wrong. I'm sure none of you are going to get it wrong, but they still get it wrong. And the reason, so this is why we're starting with money. We're going to go straight back to the studio, to the whiteboard. I get confused with my own words. And we're going to talk about the laundrette. Shirty Laundry. Now, at Shirty Laundry, you may have seen, it used to cost £4. But they've dropped their prices down to try and help people out in this difficult time. It now costs £3.72. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to teach you, you are allowed to have £4. You are allowed to have £3.72. You cannot have £3.7. You can't. You have to call that £3.70. So you are allowed to have £3.70, but you're not allowed to have one decimal place when you're doing money. Okay? My first challenge for you. If you've got 5 shirts, my first question is, when it was £4 per shirt, how much was that going to cost? And when it was now £3.72, how much does it cost? That does say how much. I need to improve my writing. Oh, I meant to say hello to Lily, who's watching her first one today as well. I forgot to say hello, Lily. Hello, Sophie. You're here. So I'm going to say some hellos while you're having a go at those questions. Feel free to use the live chat to answer them. Right, I'm just waiting to see if anyone's got any answers for us. How much will it cost 5 shirts at £4? So, and how much will it cost 5 shirts at £3.72? Now because I never did multiplying, if you are stuck on this, £3.72, you can do it by just adding like that. Especially when you're at primary school, you can still do that, and that would still work. If you want to be a bit quicker, you can just do £3.72 times 5 tens. 5 twos is 10, 5 sevens is 35, plus the 6, and we put the thing over there. 5 threes are 15, plus the 3 is £18.60. So hopefully we got some people saying that. £18.60 and £20. Vera, I can't remember what. I don't believe you are Vera. I think you've got another name. Sparsh, maybe? I can't remember. But if you're getting £15.60, just check carefully your calculations again, because I think you may not have included all the numbers for 18. So to get to 18, we had the extra 3. So that's why it's £18.60, not £15.60. Okay, so this is how we can do the working through the laundrette. Okay, so consider this when you're doing money. Notice how we needed a 0 on the end, because you can't give your answer as 18.6. Even if my year 10s and 11s want to, you're not allowed to put that answer. That would be a sad face. It looks angry face. I'd get an angry face for that. I don't get angry. I don't think I've ever done an angry face. £18.60. Okay, so that's the first bit at Shirty Laundry. Let's head back to the studio and see what the next store, what the next place has in store for us. Oh dear. Oh dear. We're going to My Way for all your weighing needs. Why? Well, you may remember in a lesson, some of you won't if this is your first one, you may remember in a lesson last week or the week before, we talk about continuous data and discrete data. When you weigh things, that is a continuous measurement. You can use as many decimals as your equipment allows you to measure to. You can get more and more and more accurate. It's not useful, but it does mean we can get quite accurate measurements. And you can see on this machine, it looks like it measures to 3 decimal places with the weight, 0.075. And it's charging 49 pence. And when you're in My Way, we're going to be weighing some different things and looking at the prices of them. So, we are going to first of all flip back to the studio. And this time, now we're at My Way, we're going to be looking at the weight of things. When we're considering the weight of things, we can have lots of different measurements. So, for example, I could have 5.8 grams of sweets, and I could add that to 10.24 grams of sweets, but I could also add in 7.612 grams of chocolate, because I've got some sweets and chocolate. That's one of the things I've bought in My Way. So, in order to do that, the easiest thing I can do is get rid of these G's. They are useful for the answer, but they're in the way of my calculations. And a reminder, we cannot add these at the moment because they've all got a decimal in that column, but they haven't there, or there, or there. You put zeros in to allow you to add them. 0 and 0 and 2, 0 and 4 and 1, 8 and 2 is 10 and 6 is 16, 5 and 7 is 12, add 1 is 13, and 1 and 1 is 2. Then we put our G back to show that it is grams. You would therefore, once you've got that written down, be allowed to say that's about the same as 23.6 grams, because you've rounded it and made it closer. You actually have rounded that wrong if you round it like that, Mr. Harris. It's still early on a Monday morning, so we'll forgive him. 23.7, because when we round, that number tells us to go up, so it becomes 23.7. And hopefully you can see the reason why we round here. We round because writing lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of decimals, it's not helpful, especially if we're paying, if the cost now we find out is £2 per 10 grams. We only want to know how many lots of 10 we've got. Well, I think 23.7 is 10 and 10 and 3.7. I think we would have to pay £6. And we probably want to get a bit more chocolate or sweets in there to make it up to 30, because that's what it would be in tens. So that's how we can use this to work out our costs when there's a price on the different things. We don't just have sweets and chocolate in my way. I'm also going to have some fruit. I always like to use the right colour things, so we're going to have a red banana. What fruit is yellow? Probably a good one to have. Those green. We've got a nice green one, so we'll use a grapefruit. And we're weighing these to see how much our fruit adds up together. We're going to weigh in kilograms. And we're going to say that the bananas come to 3.2 kilograms and the grapefruits come to 4.19. With everything I've done today, while I have a quick look into the chat, see who's talking to me, work out what those two add together. Please feel free to type it in the chat. Or avoid the chat until you've had a go. If you're not watching this live, feel free to do this on paper. I'm not going to be long. Ellis is continuing to add lots of things into the chat, some information for people. Well done to all those people that are contributing to different things. It is 18.6, Adeline, but we're not allowed to write 18.6 because it's pounds and pence. You have to have 2 decimal places when it's pounds and pence. That's why we had to do it. Okay. So we've got different answers. Banana and grapefruit added together. Monty Nut's got an answer for us. So we've lined up the decimal. We needed the extras. I don't know why I've scribbled on there. Petulant. Put a 0 there. 9, 3. If you manage 7.39 kilograms, well done. Patrick and Charlie and Monty Nut, I'm going to give you, and Amber, I'm going to give you half marks because you didn't put kilograms. When you do weighing or measuring, you have to include the units. Otherwise, annoying teachers like me say, what is it, elephants? Was it 7.39 elephants? Because we're annoying. We can't help ourselves. It's like when you say, sir, can I go to the toilet? And I say, I'm sure you probably can. Do you mean may I go to the toilet? Because we're annoying. We can't help ourselves. Anyway, let's flick back over to the mall and see where we got up to. Well, that's just 2 of the shops. I'm sure you can imagine lots of other stores. We'll go back to the DECI-Mall another time. But today's lesson, okay, if you're in year 6, you may find it today quite easy, but that's okay. Sometimes we're doing stuff that's more aimed at the 3s and 4s and 5s, or it might be revision for you. It's okay that sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. Today was all about making sure we knew what decimals were, why we used them, and talk about adding and subtracting. So that's what we've done today. We've looked at those things. I am also launching today the next challenges. So here you go. You've got a decimals worksheet in the description below the video. And you've also got a new Taskmaster. This will be the Taskmaster for everyone this week. I'll be putting the same Taskmaster in every single lesson and looking forward to your photos that you put on the Facebook group or send me on the email. I'll include the email in a second in the next screen. You've got to create the best Where's Wally or Where Am I Hiding scene. Maybe you'll go in the garden and find a good way of hiding. The only thing is, you do have to be able to see you in the picture. How are you going to do a brilliant thing where you're hiding, but you can be seen, but you're hiding? The best ones will be included. Tomorrow I'm going to do make silly noises. Tomorrow I'm going to do a gallery of all the efforts from last week. There's some brilliant ones coming out. I've got to collect them all. There's loads of them, so I've got to try and put them all together. Those any last minute entries. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. We have tomorrow at the start. We're going to see everyone's entries, all the work you submit. If you join the Facebook group, you can submit the work you're doing. I love seeing how you're all getting on. I can answer questions, send me emails. But remember, the biggest thing you can help me, and I'm sure Claire will mention it in a second in the live chat, is if you've learnt something today, like and subscribe. The more people who do that, the more people who get to see it, because the way YouTube works, it's not for me, it's the way YouTube works, is that the more people that like a thing and the more people that subscribe to a channel, the more they'll share it to random people. So more children can get the benefit of this, and hopefully you've learned something. If you didn't like it, sorry, I do my best, but if you did like it, then awesome. If you didn't, send me feedback. Let me know what you didn't like. Put things in the comments below. I'm okay with that. I am okay with feedback. Here is the information you need. Thank you so much for being part of my lesson today. I've got another one for year 5 to 9 coming up in about 35 minutes, which is all going to be about the feeding at the zoo, and I've got some resources from Marwell Zoo that which are really useful for there. I will also rejig a bit of the lesson, because I've just spotted somehow I've printed off the lesson plans for the week, and somehow Tuesday is the same as last week, so I need to change Tuesday. It won't be probability and it won't be standard form. I will quickly change those. I don't know how I managed to do this. Every time I check it over, I think, oh, I've fixed it all, I've sorted it all out, and then I go, oh, I didn't manage to change it. What a moron. Maybe it's just Sunday is a bad time for me. Thank you so much for joining. I have been Mr. Harris. You've been awesome. Goodbye.